a lot of people out there chasing their dream, but their dream is to just be rich, and that's not a dream. If you try to go out and just make money for the purpose of making money, first of all, you could end up in the wrong place due to it. You could be miserable, and then when you get it, if you don't have no goal on why you were trying to achieve this goal, you feel unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Let the sand represent your life. The sand in the bottom of the glass would represent the past. The sand in the top of the glass would represent the future. Now, there's nothing you can do about the past. That is gone. Too many people spend their time living there, wishing they had done this or wishing they had done that. It's gone. And here's the beautiful truth. Let me use the Born Rich or the Think and Grow Rich book here to show you, you don't know how much sand is in the top of the glass. Now you may think you have a lot, you only have a little. The only time you've got is right here, right now. So being worried about the past or the future is foolish. If we make up our mind, we're going to do what we feel is the best thing for us right now, we're going to have a pretty good life.
We've created a generation of narcissistic women. And what's happened is the rise of social media and the rise of online dating and the rise of feminism has taught women that they are not to blame for any poor choices. Every poor choice is glamorized. So if you want to be a sex worker, it's great. If you want to post in bikini pictures online, it's fine. If you want to be with it, every poor choice is glamorized. And every internal reflection is seen as gaslighting yourself. So they've even got terms for internal reflection to prevent it happening. And so what will happen is they are trained to not reflect on themselves because we've been told we've been oppressed for so many years. Now it's time to make sure we project. And so we don't take any accountability. And as a result, when we get into relationships, if we don't feel completely soothed all the time, he must be a narcissist. He must be a manipulator. He must be gaslighting. He, rather than I. And unfortunately, we've got an online market that caters to that wounded woman, that caters to that entitled woman, and caters to that narcissistic woman. And it's so wild to me that so many women talk about narcissism, but the society today is just catering to narcissistic women.
We were told to go to school, get good grades, get a good education, right? I did that. At one point, I'm sitting at my job. I'm like, man, they lied to me. I'm like, this is supposed to be the American dream? Working 60, 70-hour work weeks. By the way, my wife is doing the same thing. And, every Sunday night I'm seeing this look on her face because as the sun begins to set, her face begins to drop. Because what?
Monday's getting closer.
Monday's getting closer, man. I got to go to work Monday morning.
Bismillah. The average person watches over 4 to 5 hours of TV show episodes on streaming platforms or whatever other content form per day. That means that in a given week, somebody is spending over 30 hours in front of a streaming platform, consuming someone else's agenda, usually consuming things that are problematic and literally just wasting time. You are not created to just pass the time and constantly watch and watch and watch. You are created for something greater. You are created to know your Lord. You are created to spread benefit on the earth. If you are addicted or constantly watching a show or always want to go after this episode or this episode or this episode, really reevaluate your purpose in life and do not let yourself go beyond an hour a week or 2 hours a week. Set a limit for yourself and don't let your life be wasted away.
Democratic presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seemed to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania don't come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now, that's a little too much, because, as you point out, what's behind the words? What's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
But CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge, that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children,
The health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim, or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
Take any blame for inflation, Mr. President?
Am I taking blame for inflation? No.
Why not?
Because it was already there when I got here, man. Remember what the economy was like when I got here? Jobs were hemorrhaging.
No, they weren't. During Trump's last month in office, the economy had gained nearly 500,000 jobs.
Inflation was rising.
No, not really. During Trump's last 6 months in office, inflation was essentially flat. Compare that to Biden's first 6 months. Womp womp. And a 12-month inflation rate for December was 6.5%. When Trump left office, it was 1.4%.
We weren't manufacturing a damn thing here.
That makes no sense. There were nearly 12.2 million manufacturing jobs when he took office.
Creating 750,000 manufacturing jobs.
Nope. When you compare pre-pandemic manufacturing jobs to today, the economy has only created 279,000. The rest were recovered.
We were in real economic difficulty.